Hello and welcome and a very good evening. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive with me, Siddharth Talia. Now, in North Korea, power doesn't just change hands, it's inherited through dynasty. And now a new name is steadily entering the spotlight there. Kim Joo-ae, the 13-year-old daughter of Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea. From missile launch sites to military parades and high-level state events, the young teenager has increasingly been standing beside her father, watching weapons tests, launches, even visiting gun ranges. Images carefully broadcast by the North Korean state media show the pair sharing moments that appear both strategic as well as symbolic. So the question that's now being asked around the world is Kim Joo-ae simply a dictator's daughter, or is she the future leader of a country that many believe is nuclear armed? Now, state-run media in North Korea has begun referring to her with unusually grand titles like the beloved child and even a great person of guidance, fueling speculation now that she may be more than just a leader's daughter in the public eye there. Many believe that Kim Joo-ae could be the potential fourth-generation successor of the dynasty. She has reportedly been seen observing and even voicing opinions on state affairs, often positioned prominently beside her father during key moments. If that trajectory now continues, Kim Joo-ae could one day become North Korea's first female ruler, a striking possibility in a country that's known for its deeply patriarchal political culture. Now, in North Korea, power has long flowed through what the regime calls a sacred bloodline. Since the country's founding, leadership has remained firmly within the Kim family, passing from one generation to the next. It began with Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, who ruled from 1948 until 1994 and was revered as, quote-unquote, the great leader. After his death, power transferred to his son, Kim Jong-il, known as the dear leader, who governed from 1994 to 2011 until his death and pushed the country towards a strict military-first policy. The reins then passed on to Kim Jong-un, who was only 27 years old in 2011. The current, quote-unquote, supreme leader was overseeing both the expansion of North Korea's defense capabilities and attempts to develop the country's economy as well. Now the attention is turning to the possible next chapter, Kim Joo-ae, is what we're getting to hear. Now, Kim Joo-ae has been appearing with increasing frequency at some of the regime's most symbolic and strategic events. Her public debut came almost 3.5 years ago when she was seen alongside her father at a long-range missile test, one of these intercontinental ballistic missiles that North Korea claims to have, a moment that immediately drew global attention. In September 2025, she accompanied Kim Jong-un during a summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing, a rare appearance on the international stage. And just months later, in December 2025, Kim Joo-ae was seen visiting the family's sacred mausoleum, a site deeply tied to the ruling dynasty's legacy as well as symbolism in North Korea. And just yesterday, she appeared to oversee missile and weapons tests alongside her father, another high-profile moment that has only intensified speculation about whether the young Kim could one day inherit power in North Korea. It's not just Kim Joo-ae's growing list of public appearances alongside her father, visuals of which you see on your screen as well, particularly at high-profile events like missile tests that are drawing attention. The North Korean state media has also been releasing carefully curated and choreographed videos of Kim Jong-un and his daughter sharing warm, almost tender moments together. In many of these clips, the two appear like a typical father and daughter, smiling, chatting, even laughing, a striking contrast to the image of Kim Jong-un as one of the world's most feared and ruthless dictators. As you can see on your screens right now, these images capture the pair sharing affectionate moments, reinforcing a powerful narrative that beyond the missiles, the military parades, and the iron grip on power that this particular dynasty enjoys, Kim Jong-un is also being portrayed as something else, a devoted girl dad. Now, beyond these carefully curated public appearances and questions about succession, the reality inside North Korea remains deeply troubling as always. Years into Kim Jong-un's rule, the country continues to grapple with severe economic and humanitarian challenges. International sanctions, which have been linked to North Korea's nuclear program, have placed heavy limits on key exports. It's restricted fuel supplies as well as imports, and contributed to sluggish economic growth across the country over an extended period of time. At the same time, food insecurity remains a persistent problem. Weak agricultural infrastructure, combined with shortages of fertilizer as well as fuel, has led to chronic food scarcity in several parts of the country. And politically, North Korea remains one of the most tightly controlled states in the world. There are no elections or independent media there. Political prison camps are widely reported, and international organizations continue to raise concerns over what they describe as systemic human rights abuses under the regime there. Now, as speculation continues to grow around Kim Joo-ae's rising profile, the question of succession in North Korea is not just a domestic matter. It also carries serious implications for global security. For China, North Korea remains both a crucial buffer state and also a close strategic partner in the region. Beijing's biggest concern is the regime's stability. A sudden collapse could trigger chaos along its border and potentially open the door for greater American influence, perhaps military presence closer to the Chinese territory. Remember that America has bases in South Korea. The United States, meanwhile, is watching developments with a different set of concerns. North Korea has successfully tested intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching the American mainland. Washington is wary about who ultimately controls the country's nuclear launch codes and whether a successor would continue Pyongyang's current nuclear and military policies. India, too, has reasons to pay attention. Any shift in leadership in policy in North Korea could affect the broader security balance across the Indo-Pacific. There are also concerns about the risks of nuclear proliferation and how instability in the region could have ripple effects across global strategic alignments as well. So let's take this across to our guests right now. Peter Kuznick, author and professor of history and director of nuclear studies at the American University, joins us, as does Neeraj Sharma, international relations expert as well. Professor Kuznick, coming to you first and foremost, what's your take on what we're witnessing that's emerging out of North Korea? Carefully curated and choreographed visuals as well as photographs of the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, with his daughter. What do these visuals suggest in your eye?
Well, it's clearly intended to project the image that she is her father's successor, the heir apparent. However, we shouldn't jump to such conclusions.
Okay.
There are other possibilities. First of all, Kim Jong-un is only, 41 or 42 years old.
That's right.
So we don't know what kind of health he's in, but it's possible. His father lived to be 70. His grandfather lived to be 82. Mm-hmm. So what we see now might not be the reality when Kim passes, which might not be for decades. Although given the uncertainties about his health, it could be sooner. Then there's also his sister,
exactly,
who's a more known commodity,
yes,
who's been seen as the number 2 in the country. So there could be a battle for succession there. And then there's the rumors about the son. As you mentioned, North Korea is a deeply patriarchal society. Mm-hmm. And it would be much easier to accept a male heir than a female heir, especially now a young female heir. We don't know that much about Kim's family. His son has not been in the public eye, but South Korean intelligence has said there's a son who's thought to be older than the daughter.
Okay.
So, possibly even a third child. So there's still a lot of speculation involved here and a lot of guesswork.
Absolutely. Let me take this across to Neeraj Sharma as well. Mr. Sharma, Kim Yo-jong is the sister of Kim Jong-un. Her rise is also something that is noteworthy. However, do you believe that there is an attempted shift on the part of the North Korean authorities here to essentially project a less patriarchal society in North Korea and leadership than there was earlier through the rise of his own sister as well as the projection of the daughter as a possible successor? What's your reading of the situation there?
Siddharth, on a lighter note, I want to start with that I think North Korea and Kim Jong-un are facing the fear of missing out, because with so much of battles happening across, and Kim Jong-un is known for being a very active participant in such issues. I think since he's not able to use his arsenal, he's using this as a method to attract attention towards him. The spotlight wants to be on him all the time.
And
But,
he's to some extent succeeded perhaps as well, which is why we're discussing this in the first place.
You're discussing,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
But, this particular discussion revolves around the bloodline, and this bloodline is called Pektu bloodline.
Correct.
Now, Pektu is a mountainous region in northern Korea, from where the Kim clan comes, and it's considered sacred in the Korean mythology. Now, only the members of this clan are seen as the rulers. So we all know North Korea, the right to rule is not by elections, it is inherited. That is for sure. 3 generations, they have followed patriarchal system, but mind you, a female successor is going to be unprecedented.
Yes.
And like you spoke about Kim Yo-yoon.
Yes.
I think Kim Yo-yoon, who's always been the most trusted lieutenant of Kim Jong-un, is definitely going to be a key stakeholder in this entire effort of who's going to take over. Now, when we talk about Kim Jong-un's health, definitely if you go into public records, you will see that there has been a lot of buzz around him not being keeping well. Over a few years ago, there was information that there is a body double which is being used. It was there in media all over. So I think the speculations are pretty early, but then there are some gaps or fill in the blanks that we are not able to read, which may unfold in time to come.
Professor Kuznick, how do the brother and sister get along? How do Kim Jong-un and Kim Yo-jung actually get along? Because what we're also getting to hear is that Kim Yo-jung also happens to be a member of North Korea's own propaganda department. It's such a secretive society that it relies so extensively on propaganda to get certain messages out. She may very well be a party in the projection of the 13-year-old daughter of Kim Jong-un that we're currently witnessing as well. Are there really cracks in that relationship between brother and sister, or have brother and sister now decided to come up with some kind of a consensus to project Kim Jong-un's daughter as a possible successor? What's your reading of that familial equation?
That's a good question, and I don't have a clear reading of that. I know that Kim Yo-jong has emerged as the #2 most influential person in the country. She's particularly in charge of inter-Korean relations, which is enormously significant. She's I haven't seen any signs of a rift between them. In some ways, I was surprised to see the daughter emerge. I know that the succession has always been to a next generation, which would suggest that there's some reason for the daughter rather than the sister. But the sister has been a very prominent figure, a public figure, high-profile figure, respected figure, and maybe would even have closer ties to the military and the elites in North Korea. The daughter is going to have to build up that. We've been seeing her a lot, as you say, in military affairs and events. That's trying to build up her military credentials. That's a very important part of the leadership in North Korea, especially in the world that we're seeing, because North Korea, Kim has said recently that he's open to friendlier relations with the United States if the United States accepts North Korea as a nuclear state, a nuclear power, which North Korea is certainly not going to give up its nuclear weapons, especially after seeing what happened in Iraq. We're seeing what happened in Libya. We're seeing it happen in Venezuela. We're seeing what's happening now in Iran. North Korea is going to cling tightly to those nuclear weapons. And the next person in charge is going to be in charge of those nuclear weapons. So she's going to have a lot of respect from and close relations and friendly relations with the military and the elites there.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm hedging my bets, because it could be a smokescreen. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes in North Korea.
Absolutely. A final question to you, Mr. Sharma. How do you think Donald Trump is seeing all this? He's obviously undertaken a series of airstrikes now on Iran and the wars raging in the Middle East. He's spoken about Cuba possibly being next in his agenda. He doesn't speak about North Korea in the same terms because he's met Kim Jong-un himself in Singapore a few years ago. So there is a relationship that he's established with the dispensation there. How do you think Trump would be watching all of this?
It's a very tricky question, because I'm sure Trump and his administration have assessed the arsenal strengths of North Korea.
Yes.
If I take back your memory in history, 3-4 years ago, on 1st of January, Kim Jong-un threatened that he's going to bomb an American-controlled island called Guam. That had created a lot of ripples in the Pacific region.
Okay.
And that has caused the American government to spread their security all across that region, taking over small islands, making them friends, establishing military bases there. While they don't engage in a Cold War, but then behind the scenes, there's always a readiness, a preparedness that goes on.
Yes.
If the countries are able to look at North Korea, and North Korea is able to look at countries a little differently from economic point of view, because even today, none of the financing authorities of the world, be it the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, is funding any projects there. They don't have FDIs in their country. And if be it Kim Jong-un or Kim Yo-young,
yes.
If they can come in and talk about peace to the world,
okay.
I think it will start making the world look at North Korea in a positive manner.
People might ask, why are we spending so much time discussing one family? But that family controls the levers of power in North Korea. The family's fate could possibly dictate the future of the Korean Peninsula, not just the Korean Peninsula, but the region as well, because it's a country with its own nuclear program, with intercontinental ballistic missiles, and a history of serious acrimony and animosity with its immediate neighbor, South Korea. Many thanks, Mr. Sharma, as well as Professor Kuznick, for your valuable insights into this evolving discussion on the future of North Korea under the current leadership. We'll slip into a short break. Many thanks for joining.